Hello. There's an idea I've been playing around with for a long time. It's more of a psychological problem than an idea. There is no point in living. I'm just gonna throw it out there, up front. I guess we can all go home now, right? No. Here's the problem. We want there to be a point to our efforts in life. I want you to imagine all of humanity. Put each person who has ever lived on an Excel spreadsheet grid divided into groups of awesomeness. Now, the categories of awesomeness will vary depending upon what each of us views as important characteristics. What kind of characteristics could we consider? Virtue? Maybe? How about wealth accumulation? And maybe industriousness? Then maybe loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service and honor, integrity, and personal courage. Any Army guys out there? You will certainly remember the 7 core values that they drilled into your head at basic combat training. Wait, is that why they call them drill sergeants? Oh my god, I need a drink. Anyway, so we have all these different possible categories of awesomeness, quote unquote. These categories are what we might call our life's resume. You get to the end of your life and you think, was I good enough? And it's these virtues, whatever they are, that give us a sense of measuring up to some secret scale of acceptable. This whole construct is a mental framework that doesn't exist at the point of zero. As children, we just do stuff. We didn't have this mandatory pursuit of living up to the scale of awesomeness. Sure, we want to win and appeal to our fellows, but what we do as adults really doesn't equate to the concept we deal with as kids. Now, we have this Excel spreadsheet with all these billions, maybe trillions of people who have ever lived. Each person has a name, list of numerical values for each category of awesomeness, and a black or red star to indicate whether they are good enough or not good enough. In the business world, being profitable is known as being in the black, and having a deficit is known as being in the red. So, if you're in the black, you're ready to die. If you're in the red, you still have stuff to accomplish before you die, at least psychologically. Are you satisfied that if you died today, you would be ready? Maybe you're in traffic on your morning commute and thinking, fuck, what am I doing? This is such a pointless exercise. I need to go find greater meaning in life, or something like that. I think our feelings of shame or obscurity come from this. Now, are your feelings of having a pointless existence accurate? You're an employee of a company. You live paycheck to paycheck. You're just one of the worthless, mindless drones that makes one of the office lights on the building light up. Your reports are never read. You wonder if the money you make from insurance sales hurts your client's checkbook. You're in this state of depression. Yeah, the antidepressants you take help you grin and bear the day, but at home, in your bed at night, the thought nags at you. While you are indeed part of a community and contribute to the nation's GDP, you can't help but feel that the whole thing is just an exercise in obscurity. What do you matter anyway? What's the point of going on? You get frustrated and angry, and there's no conclusion to this problem. This is really kind of a hard concept to put into words. I guess you could call this having meaning in life. Religions certainly thrive on this sense of emptiness, this hole in our spirits, this feeling of pointlessness. It's a common reason for suicide. It's a big fucking deal. But nobody has ever solved this problem. Is there a solution? Religions seem to think so. They suggest a higher spiritual plane into which we can plug ourselves once we die. In Christianity, this higher order of existence is heaven and hell. God acts as the creator and master. We are given a sense of belonging and purpose. Does this sense of belonging matter to our daily existence? Some seem to think so. When you go to work to bring glory and honor to your Heavenly Father, you have a sense of purpose behind your work, and thus you may perform better in your work activities. That sense of purpose gives you a sense of motivation. And then, when you die, you will be embraced by your Heavenly Father, He will kiss your forehead. Maybe a little tongue in there. Ew. And then you will be welcomed into paradise, and you will finally have fulfilled your purpose in life. Hooray! Everything is finally fixed. But let's expand our view. Imagine you're heading toward the worship cathedral in heaven. You're getting ready for a couple hundred years of bowing and worshiping the all-powerful God who created you. You're fulfilling your purpose, and you are excited initially to bow, sing, and worship. Now, you realize that the buck stops here. You realize that this purpose you are fulfilling of worshiping your Creator is just as pointless as going to your job and selling insurance premiums. Now what? I want to talk about the concept of pointlessness. Please, somebody, tell me, who is the authority on point? Tell me whose opinion leaves us feeling like we have a final answer. And once we have a final answer, how is that any better than before we had a final answer? You see how ridiculous this concept is? It's like a vicious circle. We always seem to want this top-down view of existence. We always want a bigger answer. Say I'm a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I make about $2 million a year and have a hefty $500 million golden parachute. I've made it as far as society is concerned. Now, what am I thinking about concerning this question of purpose? I have all the stuff most people want. I have a 200-foot yacht, a Caribbean villa. I plow a new prostitute every night. I have 3 wives who are happy and make me happy. Don't ask me how I got 3. I wanted 3, so I have 3. We'll just leave it at that. I have literally everything a man could want. Now, I will still be dealing with this question of purpose. I will still have to grapple with the question of, have I made it? I will still need something to pursue which fulfills my life. See, I have accomplished everything one could possibly want to accomplish. What else is there? In a sentence, I think this is what that hole in our spirit is really dealing with. I think rather than pursuing a purpose in life, we should be aware that the pursuit is the purpose. The purpose we think of is not the outcome, but the motivation to obtain the outcome. In fact, I will say that purpose in life is the very concept of motivation. The need to find your next meal is exactly the same as the need to find ultimate purpose in life. You get hungry and you go eat something. You have satisfied that goal. Now, what do? What's the point of it all? You aren't hungry anymore, so now what's the point of living? So you go kill yourself. You see how ridiculous this is? Just extrapolate that to something more quote-unquote important. Now imagine you are someone else. You need purpose in life, so you join a church, get converted, and now you are awaiting the return of a God to save you from that God's wrath. Ah, wait. You are waiting for something that won't happen until you die. Haha! Isn't that interesting? See, getting hungry and fulfilling the need, you have come to the end of a journey. Sure, it's not a long journey that you can be proud of or get recognition for, but you are capable of completing the journey. But in this question of purpose, you can't complete the journey. It's impossible to have a final answer to the big question of purpose. It's simply an impossible goal. So if someone comes along and claims to be able to solve the problem of purpose, naturally, we are inclined to listen or follow. But here's the crux of the issue. The problem of having a purpose in life that satisfies us is impossible to really solve. The only time it is solved is when we die. Why do I say this? Because if we recognize that the problem of purpose and the concept of motivation are in fact exactly the same thing, the only difference conceptually between one motivation and another is scale or size. Going and getting something to eat and building your company from a shoestring to a multi-billion-dollar company and fulfilling God's purpose for your life are all exactly the same thing psychologically. The only difference between these things is time and effort to achieve them. Fulfilling hunger is easy. Building a company is very long, very expensive, and takes a lot of work. Fulfilling God's purpose is pretty easy, but takes your entire life to do. So we have our definitions. But now, let's take that unsettling feeling we get on the road to our insurance sales job. You don't feel like you're fulfilling the purpose, that big old purpose of your life. Here's a solution. Go eat something. Fulfilling hunger is a goal you can pursue. When you fret about not having a purpose in life, you are simply not pursuing anything at that moment in time. Think about it. When you're doing a project, maybe building something in your garage, you're fully engrossed in your project. Sure, maybe you aren't trying to solve world hunger or saving a kid from the lion's cage at the zoo, but you aren't concerned at that moment about those other things. Why aren't you concerned? Because you are actively pursuing something. So the conclusion to the question of purpose is the following. Our need for a sense of purpose is a lack of motivation for a goal at any given moment in time. When you go to work and aren't focused, maybe you're bored, you may feel like you aren't doing what you're supposed to do to fulfill your purpose in life. But the fact is, there is nothing we are supposed to do. We simply do something. That's it. One phrase from the Bible I think is pretty instructive is, all things pass away. This is true. If you die without accomplishing anything important on a cosmic scale, so what? There is no importance on a cosmic scale. Sure, if you are a religious believer, maybe you think there is such a scale, but if you're wrong, you may just miss out on millions of new experiences in life you aren't aware of. Society tells us that to find fulfillment, you need a wife and family. Is this true? I have a family. Is this true? Fuck no, it's not true. I'm telling you now, society is full of shit. MGTOW have gone their own way, but they may feel frustrated that when they wake up, they have no purpose or place in society like those married couples have. They may see television shows or go to a park and observe a couple completely lost in each other's eyes and think, man, maybe I should go get a girlfriend. Well, I want to ask you, if you were on a secret mission from the CIA and were watching for snipers on the roof, would her soft skin or sparkly eyes be of concern to you at that moment? The answer is obvious. Find something to do. Learn a language, play a video game, write a fucking poem. Hell, get drunk, I don't know. Build a nuclear weapon in your backyard. The question of purpose is the phenomenon of motivation. Getting a sandwich and building a company are exactly the same concept. Find something to do and be satisfied in the moment. When that moment passes and the project is done, do something else and be satisfied in the moment. In fact, the smaller the goal is, the faster you get to see your work completed, and this is far more satisfying than those big monster goals of making God happy or getting on Forbes 500. Mental satisfaction can be obtained upon realizing that every motivation is all-consuming. If you aren't satisfied with your work, find different work. If you aren't satisfied with something, make a change. But find something, anything, which keeps you focused. And if that thing leaves you with something to show for your efforts, all the better. The question of personal satisfaction and purpose affects every single one of us. Going MGTOW, the problem can be exponentially greater. Your life is free of millions of requirements, and as such, you lack external motivations. But you are now free to pursue internal motivations exclusively. You're in the best position imaginable. Take it from a married guy, me. I have stuff I have to do. I am always on edge. I always have this sense that if I start something, I will be interrupted by my family members demanding my attention. Ever been working on something and suddenly your mother calls you and wants to talk about bullshit? Ever had your girlfriend call you and interrupt you? You know what I'm talking about. Imagine expecting that demanding, annoying, distracting demand for attention at every hour of every day. It's not cool, man. So if you're MGTOW, you are free to pursue your own motivations every hour of every day. As such, you can live a life absolutely chock full of purpose. But yes, that purpose always has an expiration moment. When the project or activity is concluded, you must find a new motivation. Or not. You're free to decide what you will do next. MGTOW are free to be actively engaged in whatever they want, as much as they want, for as long as they want. What married person can say this? No, you won't get external validation for your work. But I can tell you, that external validation is not all it's cracked up to be. In fact, you are free to fail without getting hassled about it. Do you have any clue how big a fucking deal that is? If you've gone MGTOW, you've made the best decision you can possibly make. Period. You no longer crawl on your hands and knees begging for pussy or pats on the head. You've become a man and live as your only master. The buck stops with you. You are free to be purpose-driven every moment of every day, or not. There's no mandate on your attention. Freedom is priceless, and every MGTOW should be aware that they are in the best possible situation one can be in. Don't listen to the people that tell you there is fulfillment in relationships. I can tell you, they are completely full of shit. Finding purpose from external factors is a fool's errand. If you want to live a purpose-filled life that matters, live for your own purposes. Living for the purposes of others is the very definition of slavery. Go MGTOW and find real purpose in life. Thanks for listening.